Hello, receiving teachers, receiving students, and 6Cs. Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, in front of you, in each of the groups, you have an A4 paper that has been distributed to you. You are going to use that A4 paper to work out the answer to these 3 exercises. So row 1, you are to work on exercise 1A. Row 2, you are to work on exercise B. And row 3, you are to work on exercise C. The instruction reads, change the following decimal numbers to percentage. You have done a lot of the exercises on this in your previous lesson, so I will give you A4 papers. So you're working out on those, you may start. I'd like you to contribute to your activities that you have been assigned to complete. Don't forget to write your group number, because I will be collecting those papers to mark. As soon as you finish, you put your hand up so that I will come around to collect your activity sheet. Have I collected all the papers? Class, have I collected all your activity papers? Yes or no? Which groups are still working on their activity? Okay, we will run through each of these one on the board. So exercise 1A, I will just pick out one from the rows that they have completed just to paste it up on the board, and we can cross-check to see if they have come up with the correct answer. So we should now be looking up at the front. Okay, we have exercise 1A now on the whiteboard. We have 0.38 multiplied by 100. they have moved their decimal place how many times? Class and receiving students? 2 times, because they are multiplying 0.38 by 100%. So their final answer is, class, what is the final answer? 38% of 38%, correct? So the other 2 groups, if you have come up with the same working out like what group 2 have come up with, I will cross-check that with your activity paper. Okay, we have group 4. They have changed 0.02 to a percentage. They have multiplied 0.02 times 100. And their answer is 2%. Let's cross-check to see that 2% is correct by moving our decimal point. Okay, because we are multiplying, which direction are we going to move our decimal point? Okay, to the right. So looking up now on the board, I will now move this decimal point. 1, 2. My decimal point is now after 2. 0 has no value, so we can always leave out the 0. So the answer will remain as 2%. Or you can have 2.0%. But because we are dealing with percentage, it will remain as a whole number as 2%. So thank you, group 4. Let's now have a look at group number 8. 2.02 multiplied by 100. Their percentage answer is 202%. Let's confirm that by moving our decimal point. Your decimal point is here. We are going to move 2 decimal points to the right. 1, 2. The decimal point now is after these 2. So 202% is correct. So class, let's give 5 big claps to those groups that have shown they're working out on this activity sheet, plus you others that have yours that's still yet to be checked by your class teacher. So together, 5 big claps. Okay, thank you. We will now move on to our lesson topic for today. So we shouldn't be doing any writing. Our lesson topic for today is percentage to decimal. It is the opposite of what we have learned in our previous lesson. Okay, looking up now on the PowerPoint. To change a percentage to a decimal number, this time we are dividing by 100. In your previous lesson, you were multiplying by 100. In today's lesson, we will be dividing by 100. So point number 2, when you are dividing by 100, we are moving our decimal point 2 places to the left. You have seen how we have moved the decimal point in our activity for the recap exercises. Let's now have a look at our learning activity, just to see if those 2 main points will help us with this activity. Change this percentage to a decimal number. The percentage given is 20%. Step number 1, write the percentage over 100. I can see some students writing. I did not ask you to write. Step number 1, I will repeat. Write the percentage over 100 and make it as a fraction. This is the percentage number, 20. And we have the percentage symbol here, which represents 100. Thank you, Lorraine. Okay, the percentage there, over 100. Step number 2, divide the numerator by its denominator. Okay, this is what you should have done or you will be doing in your exercises. 20 divided by 100. Having in mind, we are moving our decimal point how many places to the left? 2 places to the left. So look at the activity very carefully, how the decimal point will be moved. But before we go on, you have been doing exercises on decimal. Who can tell us where is the decimal point in these 2 exercises? Where is our decimal point in this number here? This is the percentage. Is it in front of 2 or is it after 0? Okay, let's have Gibaru or Rudolph.
After 0.
Okay, he said the decimal point is after 0. Very good. 20% here is a whole number. So the decimal point is hidden after 0. So when you come across whole numbers, bear in mind that the decimal point is always after the last number in that number. Or like for example here we have 20, so the decimal point is after 0. We will now move the decimal point 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So the decimal point is here. We are moving the decimal point in this direction. That's to the left. And your final answer, 20% as in decimal number would be 0.2. Class, are we following? Okay, the exercise or the learning activity looks simple for us to follow if we were listening when we were going through the learning activities. I would like you now to change this 25% into a decimal number. Quickly, you'll work individually. If you have finished, you put your hand up. If you are not sure on how to go about that activity, I'd like you to refer to the whiteboard. Okay, I can see students putting their hands up. Can we correct that learning activity on the board? Who would like to show his or her working out on the board? Okay, let's have Christine? Okay, Christina? You come quickly, so you're working out on the whiteboard. You others, check to see that you have the same working out like what Christina has for us. Right on that side. Right big. Okay, let's go through the working out together on the board. Christina has shown to us how she has worked out the answer to this learning activity. 25% to be changed into a decimal number. Step number 1, write the percentage over 100 and make it as a fraction. 25 over 100. Step number 2, divide the numerator by its denominator. 25 divided by 100. Then she has moved the decimal point 2 places to the left, as indicated by the arrow here. And her final answer is 0.25. Put your hand up if you have come up with the same working out and the same answer. Okay, well done. For those students who were still struggling, you have the working out on the board. I'd like you to make correction to your exercise or that learning activity. You will now go on into doing your exercises. You have 3 exercises to be completed in our lesson for today. Change this percentage to decimals. And you have the 3 exercises there, 30%, 75%, and 125%. I'd like you to neatly write those exercises in your exercise books. I will give you 5 minutes to quickly get those 3 exercises completed. Okay, if you have finished the 3 exercises, I'd like you to have your books. Later, I will collect them to mark, but we will still go through the working out of those 3 exercises. So do not put any tick inside your books. I will mark the exercises. So I will just give another minute for those students who are still writing. Okay, can we go through the exercise together now, class? Okay, those students who have finished, I'd like you to have your books in front of you. We will now correct the 3 exercises on the whiteboard. So I'd like volunteers to come up and show what you have written in your exercise book. So receiving students, you can come up to the front also and show your working out on the blackboard, so your other friends can compare their answers and working out with what you have done in your books. So can we have Laka to come up and do the first exercise? Jason, exercise B. Okay, let's have Joe to do exercise C. Please do write bigger so that we can all see what you are writing on the board. So Laka, quickly. Very much, Laka. Let's move on to exercise 1B. Write your 5 properly. Write your 5 properly. Thank you, Jason. Who is doing the last one? Joe? Okay, thank you, Joe. Class, looking up now on the whiteboard, let's have a look at what our friends have written on the board. Look at the first exercise, 30%. Step number 1, you are to write that percentage as a fraction. So in this case, 30% over 100, or 30 over 100. Then we are to divide the numerator by its denominator. 30% divided by 100. Laka has moved her decimal point 2 places to the left. And you can see it from the exercise itself. And she finally got her answer as 0.3. Very good. Put your hand up if you have the same answer. Good. I will be collecting your books to cross-check that. Exercise B, 75%. 75 over 100. Is there anything missing from this working out here? Yes, what is it? Equal sign. Don't forget. Okay, you have your equal sign straight in line with the fraction bar. 75 divided by 100. You will see they have moved the decimal point 2 places to the left. And the final answer is 0.75. Very good. And the last one, 125%. Thank you, Joe. 125% over 100. Again, what is missing there? Equal sign. Make sure, Joe, next time you move this working out further down in line with the equal sign. So we will do that for him. We have 125 divided by 100. Did you see how we moved this decimal point? Okay, for the sake of our other friends, that decimal point now is going to be moved from this number here. Now, where is the decimal point? Where is the decimal point? 125 is a whole number. Joe, where is your decimal point? Okay, he will correct himself or tell the class where he has moved this decimal point from this number.
Behind 5.
Okay, behind 5 is at the back of 5. So you should say after 5. So when you say behind 5, it's at the back of 5. So we can see the decimal point at the back. So the decimal point correction here is after 5. So we will move this decimal point 2 places to the left. So we are going to move that now. 1, 2. So the decimal point now is in between 1 and 2. So thank you, Joe. Your answer is still correct. So don't forget, always have this working out in line with the equal sign, like what your other friends have done here. So the 3 exercises are all correct. If you have them correct also, do not mark that. I will mark that exercise for you. So thank you to those 3 students who have contributed. So receiving teachers, I hope you have also done the same with your students in the classroom. You may collect their books also to check to see that they have actually did the exercises. We will now go on to our summary point for today. And our summary point is now on the PowerPoint. To change a percentage to a decimal, write the percentage over 100 and write it as a fraction. Make sure that it's in a fraction form. And the second bullet point, divide by 100. That is to do with the numerator, dividing the numerator by its denominator. Quickly copy those 2 summary points into your books. And our key phrase for today's lesson is changing percentage to decimals. With that, class, we have come to the end of our lesson. To the receiving teacher, your next lesson topic is fraction to percentage. Materials that you would need for the particular lesson would be your student's book and also blank papers that students can be able to use for their exercises. Thank you, students, for your participation. We have come to the end of our lesson.